Villains just aren't what they used to be in reality TV dating shows, and you should take that as a warning for your real life female friendships. Who you date, who you befriend, that's a personal civil rights issue. Now, why have we seen a decline in villains on TV? And what was going on the last 2 days when Olandria and Shelley redrew the battle lines with Huda on Love Island Season 7, the USA version? Couple things. There is always a cost when you go after what you want, specifically as a woman. The conversation around what it means to be a girl's girl is heating up on Love Island because, surprise, surprise, some people love the concept and getting all the benefits and protection of being a girl's girl while not actually putting in the work to do that themselves. And here's the truth. You need female friendships in a patriarchal society. We have to watch the behavior that we're seeing where girls code only goes in one direction. And yes, Hood is 24. We're in an environment where people are provoking and constantly nagging at your insecurities, but there are choices we can all make even when things get intense in any social setting. So the last 2 evenings, we've watched Shelley clock that Huda is not actually respecting her, acting tender, and thinking about her connection in the way Shelley has with Huda in the past. She notices that this self-awareness and kindness that Huda has articulated and expressed appreciating has no real vested interest in returning the favor. A line had been crossed in a challenge where Huda had behaved in a way that she had previously expressed she was glad Shelley had never, to her own connections. To her credit, Huda is quicker this time to go, wow, I really overstepped and I shouldn't have done that. This is growth, but there was also some talking about how, well, it's just a challenge and I don't understand why she's upset. So there's a little bit of more realizing, oh, I'm about to lose the protection and the favor of this fabulous Black woman who I actually like. And the plot thickens at the fireplace because Olandria decides in front of everybody during a new challenge where people are giving out anonymous feedback and statements that Huda had indeed kissed Chris, who was also pursuing a connection with Shelley. Olandria makes this move to give her fellow Black woman in her sisterhood a piece of information that Huda had been holding back. Olandria threw in her lot with Shelley because she knows, and she had looked around and realized Shelley was the person who could be more trusted and was somebody who wasn't going to go around her. And she knew, I've got to pick whose loyalty I'm going to go with, and it's going to be Shelley's. She knew she was betraying Huda. She knew what she was doing. She knew she was looking like not a girl's girl, but she wanted to do that to be in and have favor with the people who were actually protecting each other. She knew this fellow Black woman was not going to weaponize her tears and have all these breakdowns that other people were then going to have to fix and deal with. It was a betrayal of Huda and an affirmation for Shelley and the other girls who have stayed cool. Huda is now paying the price of taking for granted the comfort and the protection of the other women. Huda's initial crash out with Jeremiah made her look really bad, and she really rehabbed her image by becoming a girl's girl, getting close with the other sisters, and letting them take care of her. It made her look sympathetic. Reality shows by design are engineered to take your worst insecurities and exploit them, to cause dissension among the house and provoke tension among the contestants. Baked into this structure is the ability and the option to betray other people to get what you want. Knowing what the cost is of being either the villain in somebody else's story when you know you're doing the right thing and you're still being respectable versus actually being the villain in other people's story because you're acting like a villain, that could be the difference between you looking up and realizing, oh, I don't have any meaningful relationships with either men or women. Women are punished all the time in the outside world for thinking about their own self-interests. Sometimes you will keep a fake peace because having that relationship or having the prize that society deems valuable is worth it to you. Keeping a fake peace is also a way other people can manipulate and control you. So you want to be careful about that. You have to sometimes be okay with other people thinking you're the villain. When we're talking about being a true girl's girl and the way that that kind of language is manipulated to excuse other behavior, we have to look at behavior that is actually saying, I legitimately respect the desires, needs, and humanity of other women. You don't have to betray yourself to treat another woman with respect. You have critics complaining that shows like The Bachelor are getting boring and dull, and it's because this girl's girl behavior or the desire to be perceived as a girl's girl is really valuable in an ecosystem where you go on this show and then you get a marketing career afterwards. And to people's credit, and even some of the desires we see Huda express to be part of this community but then not have the emotional toolkit to do so, there are women that do just want a peaceful emotional experience in an experience like this. We do see some remorse in Huda when she realizes she's really hurt this relationship. We talk a lot on here about the value that mass media can provide, as trashy as we want to call it, in terms of representation, what it can do for Black women in the dating pool. But we also have to talk about the harms. We also have to talk about the ways that it is a two-edged sword. When contestants like Shelley consent to be on these shows, they are consenting to be in a working environment with producers who are looking for the types of other contestants who they can manipulate, who have emotional issues or emotional weaknesses that will cause problems. I don't want to full send demonize Huda, but I want you to know that when producers and casting sat down with her and looked at her, they saw someone they could manipulate. No producer wants their show to be boring. And getting as close as you can to the line of human suffering and drama, they'll take it. Shows might get backlash, like the infamous Chuck Barris in his 70s show, where he would bring the secretary, the husband, and the wife and have them compete to see who knew the husband better. People who worked on that show in the 70s said they knew what kind of product they were making, they knew going in, and then they would see it crash and burn in front of them, and they would feel like, oh, we're hurting people. But the content machine demands sacrifices. So we have to understand that when we are interacting, talking about these people, or adding to the general noise around this kind of mass media. Shelley has shown us in the last couple episodes that yes, you might always be in an unequal society that values some women's tears more than yours, but you can hold yourself and your relationships to a certain standard and hold certain boundaries and walk away. I don't expect society or TV shows to look out for the feelings and needs of Black women. But I don't think this new language about being a girl's girl and sticking with the girls should guilt us into doing the old emotional labor that so many Black women are asked to do. I would love to know about your experiences and how you in your own life have set up new boundaries or guidelines for how you protect yourself from this sort of thing. I'd also like to add, all of these people are complicated people who have way more going on than anything we can see. I don't know them, you don't know them, so we'll be nice about it.